features which may not be inherited. Okay, you see that this animal is resistant to this disease. You can say, okay, it has this size, or so it might be just it is phenotypic. It's what you can see. That thing may not be inherent in his gene, so the offspring may not inherit it. Then another thing is that certain desirable features may not be expressed in the animal due to a change in climatic or environmental condition. So even some of the characters that are carried in the gene of the animal are not expressed because of an unfavorable climatic or environmental condition. Then the next disadvantage is that no new desirable traits are introduced. So it's the ones that you have, okay, that you can see. Okay, I can see that this one is good. I can see that that one is good. So you're not bringing in any new thing. Then it is tedious to carry out. Selection is tedious to carry out. It also wastes time. It is expensive to carry out too. The services of highly trained professionals are required and may not be readily available. Then the last but not the least is that certain desirable traits are eliminated or excluded from parent stock. Okay, so these traits, maybe in the process of selection, you might have excluded it or you might have eliminated it from the parent stock when you are selecting the animals. Then the third method of animal improvement is breeding. Breeding is a system of producing offspring with desirable qualities. A system whereby you produce offspring with desirable qualities. Okay, you have seen these desirable qualities in this animals, so the animals are brought together to mate, and you have an offspring that has those desirable characters in them. Then it is generally achieved by mating. That's just it. The animals come to mate, and you have the offspring having those two desirable traits. Then there are three major types of breeding. We have inbreeding, we have outbreeding, then crossbreeding. Advantages of breeding. Breeding results in the production of pure breeds and pure lives. That is inbreeding. Inbreeding, animals that are closely related are bred, so it produces pure breed. Then in crossbreeding is that the animals are not of the same, they are not of the same parents, or they may not be closely related parents. So the animal has a kind of different abilities in it than the ones that are inbreeding. So you can bring another animal from another environment which is able to adapt to the new environment because it is now combining characteristics of different parents or parents from different environments. Another advantage is that the mating of superior animals from two different breeds produce an offspring that is superior to the average of either parent. So the animal that is produced from crossbreeding, brought two parents together, is superior to either of the parents because it's carrying characteristics from both parents, which is superior to either of them. So this is called hybrid vigor or heterosis. That is crossbreeding. Then offspring can now grow more rapidly and are economical to rear. So offspring of breeding, when you undergo breeding or you take your animals through breeding, their offspring grow more rapidly and they are more economical to rear. Another advantage is that it helps concentrate and preserve specific qualities in animals. So you preserve specific qualities that when you are doing inbreeding, okay, this particular group of animals, okay, we like their traits, so you are mating them, they are mating among themselves there. So you are able to concentrate specific qualities and preserve them. That is inbreeding. Then the disadvantages of breeding. First, continuous breeding will result in reduction of vigor or performance. When you keep breeding the same animal or the same kind of animal, they are closely related, so they have the same characteristics. So over time there will be reduction in the vigor or the performance of such animals. Then another thing is that it can later result in breeding now can also later result to susceptibility to disease. The animals will be prone to some diseases. Then another disadvantage is that production of milk, egg, meat can result including slow growth rate and loss of fertility. Low production of milk, low production of egg, low production of meat can result, and it can also include slow growth rate and loss of fertility when you continue to do inbreeding. Inbreeding, now to talk about inbreeding. Inbreeding is the mating of animals with close genetic relationships. They are very close. Then what it entails that it keeps homozygous traits of the breeds to maintain either the dominant or the recessive traits of such species. So when you bring closely related animals together to mate, you are keeping a particular trait, a homozygous trait, so as to maintain a dominant or a recessive trait of such species. Then continuous inbreeding tends to produce pure animal breed, and at times depression of certain traits. When you keep mating animals that are closely related, almost the same qualities, keep mating, that's what you have. You have a continuous inbreeding that tends to reduce or produce pure breeds, and at times depression of certain traits. Inbreeding is expensive to practice. Now to outbreeding. Outbreeding is mating of distant relations of animals that are belonging to the same species and bred. They are of the same species, but they are distantly related. They don't have common ancestors. Then outbreeding is used to recover certain traits that may have been lost due to other breeding methods. You know, they are of the same species, but they are distantly related. So some traits that might have been lost due to that breeding method are brought back when outbreeding is done. Then the offspring that is produced during outbreeding have higher vigor and productivity because new blood is injected into the head. Now, crossbreeding is the mating of unrelated breeds of animal, even though they belong to the same species. This is also allowed to inject new blood into the head. If two different animals that are related are crossed, it gives rise to a hybrid vigor, or what we call heterosis. So the desired traits to be made to be dominant over the undesired traits. Hence, the hybrid is superior to in quality, and even in quality, especially to any of the parents, is superior to either of the parents. Still talking about breeding, we want to talk about artificial insemination. Artificial insemination is the introduction of the male sperm, that's the spermatozoa, into the female genital tract without the normal natural servicing by the male. So from the word artificial insemination, it tells us that it is not the normal mating method, but it's an artificial way of introducing the sperm cell into the female genital tract. That's what artificial insemination is all about. It's not the normal mating whereby the male and the female come together. No, this artificial insemination method is just the sperm. The male animal is not really needed to be physically present before the sperm can be used in mating or in producing an offspring from the female. It is an effective and progressive artificial insemination program is of a great value to livestock farmers. So when artificial insemination is done, it's of a great value to livestock farmers. So how do we go about artificial insemination? The first step is the collection of semen. That is, how do you get the sperm cell or the spermatozoa from the male animal? This involves the use of artificial vaginas made of rubber tubing, reinforced at the mouth with a collecting bottle at the end. So, the animal is natural in itself. So, wanting to mate with a female, that's what it's looking out for. But when you bring this rubber-made artificial vagina, so it feels the male animal in its own thinking is still doing the natural thing, because the artificial vagina is similar to what you have in the female animal. So then also an electro ejaculator is used to induce ejaculation in the male. Now So ejaculation is induced in the male animal by an electro ejaculator using electrical stimulation from an electrode that is placed in the rectum of the male animal. So an electro ejaculator is placed in the rectum of the male animal to induce ejaculation. Then this method of collection of semen is useful for obtaining semen from an unoperative or untrained animal. So you can use it to collect semen from an animal that you are not even trained for artificial insemination or collection of semen. Now, how do you process the semen? Semen processing is the next method. After you have collected the semen, how is it processed? The semen must be protected from rapid changes in temperature immediately after ejaculation. So you have to keep the semen when you collect it so that it doesn't get spoiled, because there will be changes. So you have to keep it from rapid changes immediately after ejaculation. For effective storage for periods longer than a few hours, a diluent is necessary. A diluent protects the semen from changes in temperature, then it preserves it for long periods without it decreasing in fertility. Then it buffers the semen against changes in the hydrogen concentration, as the pH. Then it increases the volume of the semen